Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're playing some more historic best of 3, trying out a few different decks built around or including a card from the new Alchemy drop, the Painful Bond. This card's been very good in what I've played thus far. Some of the decks worked really well, some haven't been playing as well, but we're experimenting, seeing what works, what doesn't on the Mythic ladder. So Painful Bond, 2 mana, draw 2 at instant speed. It does have the tax of 3 mana or more spells. You have to lose a life to cast them. But in Allura Shell, we basically don't play those many expensive cards. Like, we have a couple Skewer the Critics here, but largely our deck's 2 mana, so pretty cheap to play. This is trying it out in a mostly mono-red burn shell. So what I was doing was having like Soulscar Mage, Dragon Rage Chandler as your primary creatures on one. You have Bomat as a way to get some card draw. I was not certain between Bomat and Kumana. They both add another subtype for the Dragon Rage Chandler for Delirium, but I wasn't sure which one worked better. So I'm doing Coward Split right now. We might switch to one or the other as we play some games. This turns on Spectacle technically. This is another attacker. We have Burn in the form of Play with Fire, Static Discharge, which scales and gets better. You have Lightning Strike. You have Electrostatic Blast, which lets you get card advantage. You have Painful Bond, which lets you get card advantage. Bloodthirsty Adversaries could be like 2 mana, cast it, get some value. If not, kick it and you can flash back one of your spells. You have Skewer the Critics as just some more additional burn and reach. Mana base, we have 12 black sources. So the thing is, I'm not playing anything like Thoughtseize because really we only have 8 black spells on one, or 8 black lands on one, which is a little low. We're on 22 lands. I'm doing a split of 2 dens, 4 Ramanops to kind of play with that. We might be able to kind of push it to 1 more den, but I wanted to try like this first. The sideboard, Graveyard Hate, Soul Guide Lantern, Infernal Grasp is some more hard removal, so if stuff kind of scales above that 3 damage mark. Noxious Grasps, good against the Auras deck, also could hit Teferi's, kind of the thought. Vortex is played. One thing, if you are playing Vortex, don't kick Adversary, it'll deal 5 damage to yourself. Some Croxas for the grindier matchups. We're relatively not using our Graveyard. So if opponent brings in Graveyard Hate, whatever. If not, for the grindier matchups, it's another angle of attack that go long. We're not being able to... I've opted to not play Planeswalkers because I want to keep Lurrus, but I thought it'd be fine. Go Blanks could hit Phoenix, control decks, and then some Kolaghan Command to rebuy as also a way to hit artifacts if we run into the Affinity deck. So I tried it in a Dimir shell. The Dimir deck played really well. The Orzhov deck had some cool games, but just didn't play the way I wanted it to, so we kind of scrapped that one there, but let's give this a shot, see how it plays out. So the one thing is, in the other decks, I played up to 3 and 4 mana, so I went up to Sorin's and I played Graveyard Trespassers. This one, I wanted to keep it lower curve. The thing is, with going with Lurrus, they tend to bring more creature removal, or like it gives them the information that you're on a creature-based deck. This hand looks good. Gonna keep this. I think we're gonna go Kumana here. So if I draw another 1 mana spell, I'll play out the Bloodthirsty. If I don't, because this will be a 3/3. Ooh, Electrostatic's nice. So the fact they already shocked themselves is good for us. Sylveon. So we're going to play this out. See if they want to trade here. So this will shrink it. That was a good trade for us. This is the scariest card out of Merfolk. So we can take out their Lord. So I'm going to take out their Lord here. It gets rid of a blocker. Actually, I'm going to attack first. See what they do. Okay, so this lets me eat both their creatures. Here I'm just gonna take this. I forgot I had the Kumana, but this worked nicely just in terms of trading and combat. Cool. This matchup's actually probably not too bad. So I'll bring in the Infernal Grasps. I'll bring in the Kolaghan's Command. Bomat could come out. I don't see Bomat doing too much in this matchup. On the play, Kumana probably comes out. Might still want... Skewer always deals 3 damage, so I think I just want all Doomblades on board. Opponent had a little bit of an awkward... The fact they had no 2-drop worked pretty well for us. We got on board pretty good. And the nice thing is, like, this hand here, fantastic, because we just hit, like we 1-for-1 them. Like, our burn normally goes face, but here, every one of our spells is a removal spell. I wouldn't mind something like a Soulscar Mage, or just a 1-drop. That's perfect. So I'm actually going to go this turn. The reason being, this gets us starting intensity of 4, so when they play Kumena next turn, I can hit it with the Static Discharge and deal 4 to it. And this is what I really like about these. Let's put that in the graveyard. And now we have 3 more burn spells. We have Sorcery Land instant. And then the nice thing about Dragon Rage here lets us scry off the top. I think we're okay there. So we're gonna do this so we get the Surveil off. Can I do better than Skewer the Critics? Probably not. Because next turn with Skewer, I can kind of spectacle them. Sylvium's scary. So I can 2-for-1 myself, but I think we do this. See what they do here. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do this. This card gets him back in it. Jeez. So many lands. We were really hoping to flip this, like, for everything that we saw. I can buy Luris to hand next turn. In fact, they're still on 3 cards. Like, we've killed 5 of their creatures. Adversary would be great right now, actually. Kick a Static Discharge. What'd we say? That's a sorcery speed, so let's just do this, just in case. And the nice thing is if it dies, then we can bring it back with Luris and kick it. That was a solid draw. Just bring Luris to hand. I'm gonna hold off here because if they have a fight spell, we can just kind of use this as a way to protect us from the fight spell. These are just kind of whatever at this point. So let's start with attacking. Recast DRC. Our mana base has been extremely painful this game. They've only attacked us once, but we're at 13. This was a great draw too, because it gives me a 1 mana spell. What you got, opponent? We're frying some fish. I don't want him to tap my Luris down. I'm gonna keep Electrostatic. Okay, so I'm going to put Soul Scar in because this gives us Delirium, so I can attack. I get to draw some cards here. Yeah, opponent's seen enough. Didn't even get to use our black spells that... Actually, did we draw? I don't know. We just burnt a lot of fish. That's probably a really good matchup for us. While they can get really big, because we have such cheap answers along the way, we can just pick them off one by one. Now, if we were running into something like mono green, that would be a lot trickier of a matchup to kind of navigate through. Yoria and blue-white control. Yeah, I think we go off this. Untap land. That's the only thing with these Hunted Ridges. Solemnity Visions. Jeskai. I'm gonna pass the turn here. Them shocking in here, so we're gonna miss a line drop. Okay, so I was hoping that they didn't have... They could have had a burn spell. So I wanted to keep this up. This is typically blue-white, but then maybe Jeskai. I'm gonna do this first. If we could start static discharging, it'll be good. Cool. It's gonna be the game of... So anyways, I started blasting. Could see Lotus Field, but we have 4, 6, 9 damage of burn in hand. We have this as a flashback, the opponent dealing 4 to themselves. Blood Sun is usually Lotus Field. If they're on Yorion, they could be on Gear Hulk. Oh, okay, so that turns off the shock. It's going to be like shocking again, seems a little ambitious. So we're just gonna point as much damage to their face as possible. You know what, I had lethal, but it's fine. They need to gain a lot of life here.
I have just the trick for this.
I should have counted. They could have had March of the Otherworldly. So they could be looking for Lightning Helix here. But I have this Static Discharge for 4. Yep. Let him know we had it. I actually didn't want to show him the adversary, but that's fine. Okay, so Yorion. Let's go Vortex. Let's go blanks. Skewer's probably too slow. This is just going to be a dumb creature. Think we can... The play with fires are pretty low value. Bring 1 Croxa. Because the thing is, this is just a creature, worst case. If they want to bring in Graveyard Hate versus us, let them bring in Graveyard Hate. It just dilutes their deck a bit more. They're already at 80 cards. This hand's not very good. This hand is. I'm gonna get this going earlier, just this helps us shape our draws. I probably just want 3 lines. Composition of our hand, it's interesting. Okay, so they bring that in. Okay, so since we drew that, So this is interesting because I can do this, just start chipping at him for 2. I can Vortex. Yeah, I'll probably Vortex. They've shown Helix, so I think we want to keep up protection. Could see Stifle here. Tail's End. So a bit of an older version. I think we're just gonna do this. So not as much pressure this game. Opponents wisely not shocking themselves as much. They might have something like Farewell. Skyclave Apparition. And they have the Helix. Yeah, that's rough. I think we're just doing this. So I'm going to do this on their turn. If they want to get ambitious. Blood Sun. Blood Sun turning off our utility lines is kind of crappy. So get Skyclave out of the way. Do they have Ephemerate? Okay, March. Like, we gotta be mindful of Yorion. I think we're just doing Lightning Strike here. Like, I could shock myself in, get Luris. Luris buys back Adversary. Actually, don't mind that. While it's 3 more points of damage, I think just getting the utility is worthwhile. Like, opponents kind of spinning their wheels with Blood Suns here. I can start putting some pressure. And I can actually just kick this, which I think we're gonna do. Okay, opponent's on Blood Sun Tron. So Blast lets me get card. So it's either 4 damage, 7, 9, or Electrostatic Blast, which sets me up for a future turn. So again, it's 2 less damage. It's probably better because we're going to need card advantage. And this way I don't have to commit Luris at this point. More lands just makes it better for Adversary. So they have 3, 5. So they could bring Yorion back. They could have something like Settle. Yorion does draw 3 cards here. I just got to get him into burn range. Oh, Discontinuity. Magma Opus. Yeah, that's not great. Okay. No! One land. We needed that. That tap down was gross. Okay, so I'll play the land here. This lets me Luris. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So a land lets me Luris, kick, and static discharge. But they're going to draw 3 here. So I think the plan's just go face. We needed that card draw so bad. That's an interesting decision. So to me, this suggests they have a sweeper. So we're just going to play out like this. Otherwise, play Yorion, get a 4/5 blocker. Okay, so we see Yorion come down. We've cast this once, so it's only 4. This is where they're just gonna grind us. We have just a lot of burn to point face, so... So I can... see what they do here. Go blank doesn't really make sense here. So I'm just going to take this out. I want to try to be able to poke through some points of damage. Okay, so they had veto. I mean, it's damage. Here I only hit them for 1. Normally in this matchup you have... Okay, well, now we lost. Now it brings in Dream Trawler. Okay, so... Colgan. Noxious Grasp is actually not bad. I don't like this go blank actually. I think we're gonna go like this. They're not really playing to their graveyard. They have like enough ways to draw multiple cards, so we're likely not going to be hitting them on time. As is with every aggressive deck, let's take this one on the play. I'm just going to do this, hit him for 3. Land to be really good here. What are you going to hole? Actually, I'm doing that there is pretty good. Okay, so... They haven't shown sweepers at all this game in any of the games. We're gonna assume they don't have any. They have Anger or Divine Purge. They have it. Okay, so we see Blood Sun. Actually, should have tapped the black mana that way. I want to have double life gain up. They always have bloods, like 80 card deck always have it. Archmage Charm. Sure. So they likely have another spell here. So we're just not gonna trade into it. That's, if they didn't have another spell, they wouldn't have stolen that. Yeah, Salundi. I'll do it next turn. We did go shields down, so if they have a Helix, they can get us. Tail's End can hit Luris. This one's an interesting match. We haven't seen like this type of deck in a while. I think we just gotta throw stuff at the wall. Hope we draw some burn. Have this vortex push as far as it can. That's really frustrating, because they also have Tail's End. I mean, use it. We know you have it. That Archmage Charm is gross. Any burn spell off the top. So I'm going to set an upkeep stop here. Because I want the prowess trigger on my turn. This is frustrating. Okay. They need a counter spell and a removal spell. Good start. Magma Opus is not that. It's a good card to have. Got him! That one felt good. Alright, this list felt good. I think the additions, like we saw the commentary, there's just a lot of ways to refill our hands in this deck, get value, the graveyard, the digital only cards seem really sweet. But this one's definitely one to check out. Grinded there against a few different decks. A lot of removal, big mana. Skewer maybe we don't need. maybe just go up. Kumano was actually pretty nice with our spells. Maybe we want like some Crox's main instead, just another way to take advantage, or even just Kolaghan's command could be good. Rebuy our adversaries after they die, create almost like a loop with them. I could see that being reasonable, but this felt good. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, if you can, drop a like, comment, and subscribe.